Redditors who have COVID-19, what is it like? Just started Z-Pack today to help prevent a lung infection. Throat feels like I swallowed glass and chest hurts when I take a deep breath. Energy low and talking takes my breath away. So far not as bad as expected. I'm on day 13 of having the virus and it's been a trip. I'm a 31 healthy female with no chronic illnesses. The first day I had a dry cough and sore throat. Both were really subtle and could have been confused for a cold. By the third day they had disappeared, but the fatigue sent in along with an irritated feeling behind my eyes. By the sixth day I had this irritated feeling in my lungs, almost like I had taken too big of a hit from a barn. Day 7 and the lungs weren't irritated but a lot of pressure. This continued for a couple days, but day 10 was the absolute worst. Has a migraine that wouldn't leave, and a painful ache throughout my body along with a fever. The past 2 days have been better, but I still get short of breath doing small things. I'm taking it day by day and trying to rest as much as possible along with staying hydrated. For anyone wondering, I'm in Sweden and the government has done a shit job of handling the situation. No lockdown. Everyone is still gathering in crowds. It's quite horrifying to see how naive they are to the whole thing. I'm positive to COVID-19, but I do have nearly no symptoms at all, just a bit coughing. I noticed really late that I have COVID and I infected my dad and he is really ill, so I'm just worried that he might not make it through. I guess that is a dangerous part of the virus. Some have no symptoms at all like me and can infect other persons without knowing. Stay in home and stay healthy everyone. Edit, since so many people ask me how I got tested even with mild SYMPTONS*. Also thank you all for the kind words, it helps me a lot*. Sorry for bad English, but it's not my first language. I do noticed it really late because I got infected by a coworker who got tested 1 week after having strong symptoms. Then I got a phone call from my workplace that we need to get tested. Us at my workplace called our local health department that we have one confirmed corona case. So the health department contacted us, me and 5 more co-workers who are in the same shift. They told us to stay at home and asked for any symptoms. I told them that I have a light cough, but I might just catch the cold. They then asked me if I had any contact to people in my area in the last 2 weeks, family, friends etc. I told them that I still live with my dad, mother and younger brother in the same house, but on different floors. So they send a doctor to us to make the test. Me and my father got tested positive, my mother and brother negative. So I am together now with my father on the upper floor and my brother and mother on the other floor of the house. I live in Germany, just in case anyone is wondering. Absolutely terrible. I'm immunocompromised and have been sick for like 15 days now. The fevers, IMO, are the worst. I tell my friends I'm doing okay or getting better, so they don't worry lol. To be honest, sometimes I fear I might just die, but the docs said I should be able to get through it. No hospitalization yet either, which is good. It really makes me reflect back on my life though. Not much else to do while bedridden. I did not have a confirmed case because it is near fucking impossible to get a test where I live. But I'm confident my fiance and I had it. TLDR, a lot worse for him than for me. Read on if you care for details. First I was sick. Around the end of the first week of March. Cough, feeling run down. Really nasty head cold is what is felt like, but little to no congestion. I just think it's allergies. Kinda felt short of breath. But I'm in my 3rd trimester and the baby is squishing my diaphragm, so that's normal for me. Same thing continues for days. By March 11th my fiance was complaining he didn't feel good. That Friday he feels so bad he leaves work early to go to urgent care. He tests negative for the flu. At this point we are well aware of the virus. He is scared if he should come back to our home with me. He begs them for a test. They say there are no tests. Maybe if he had traveled out of the country or he had a fever they would recommend him to go to an ER where they might give him a test if his condition is deemed serious enough. What's wrong with me if it's not the flu? He asked them. You have an upper respiratory infection, they said. Over the weekend he declines badly. I start to feel worse, but my symptoms don't become more severe as much as I just feel more and more down each day. I do eventually get this deep wheeze in my lungs. My fiance is having trouble breathing on Monday. to the point I'm very scared I might need to take him to the hospital. But first I try to get him to the local doctor, but they are not taking patients with symptoms. I try another and another, no luck. I call our insurance's nurse line. She listens to his symptoms and urges us to return to the urgent care where he tested negative for the flu and request a prescription for a test. So we call them. They say no. No fever, no having traveled, no test. If you can't breath, go to the ER. I monitor him throughout the next few hours, taking his temperature. He does not spike a fever, but his breathing stabilizes enough where we don't go to the ER. We live in NC. I don't know why it is so hard to get tested here. It makes me very sad. They say there are testing sites, but it's not that easy. It's extremely exclusive here. At this point I'm confident we have both had the virus. I can't see me not having it, since he seemed to have had it. He missed 10 days of work. My obgyn would not give me a test, because I was not sick enough. Moral of the story, this virus affects everyone so differently. We are in our late 20s and healthy. I have never seen this man so sick. But me, even being this pregnant, it was unpleasant but mild. I have a benign form of the virus, so no trouble breathing. I was sick for a few days, fever, muscular pain, throat pain etc. I feel better now, but I still haven't recovered my sense of smell and taste. I can literally bite on an onion, as if it was an apple. Unbelievably strong headache, lung hurts so I can only breathe very shallowly, low energy, every muscle and joint above the belly button hurts, throat and nose feels sorry, and a lot of coughing. I can't smell or taste certain smells/tastes. I can't sleep, painkillers don't work, everything hurts, everything is uncomfortable because of the pain. It sucks a lot, and I wish it nobody. Oh, and my case is a harmless one. My so got it from a lady at work. She started getting symptoms about 4 days after contact. She had a slight fever, sore throat, neck pain, lethargy. Lasted 2 days, then she was all good. I started showing signs a week later. I had a dry cough for 2 days and my joints hurt, lethargy. Then I woke up with a killer headache in the back of my head/neck on day 3. Good as headache powder worked great, and I took a shot of NyQuil. We both feel fine now. Still self-quarantined. I'm still waiting for test results, so I'm not 100% sure I have it, but man, this sucks. I'm 22 and was completely healthy. Only pre-exciting condition was my exercise-induced asthma. Currently on day 7 of symptoms. Worst part has been the shortness of breath, hands down. The cough was pretty bad, but this is terrifying. Feels like a load of bricks on my chest and it hurts to breathe. I can't walk more than like 20 to 30 feet, or say more than a sentence or two without getting winded. The hardest part is managing your natural reaction to panic at the fact that, ick now, you can't breathe. The whole testing process has been pretty surreal as well. My state's health department calls me once or twice a day to make sure I'm still able to breathe on my own, and that I'm following the isolation order. Still hoping that I'll get the call that this was all just a very weird and badly timed cold. Dry cough came first, and I thought I just smoked too much Cali weed. I do, and smoking weakens your immune system. Then came the itchy throat, and I drank a liter of water, and still felt it. About 3 or 4 days later I knew something wasn't right because I started feeling extremely tired, and like my eyes were heavy. About a week in, I feel like absolute death. Can't go to work, get fired, the stock market, and all my savings crash, and I'm bedridden with no supplies. I called the hospital and they didn't have any covered tests, so they told me, as long as I have no difficulty breathing, don't even bother coming in. I got a call yesterday that they have tests at the hospital now. They told me that it wasn't worth coming in for a test. If I'm starting to recover, I am. Then I should just self-quarantine. If I have COVID, I can transmit it to others. If I don't have it, I could catch it. Better to let my body recover. I think they gave me terrible advice. I'm scared, yo. I'm not going to go outside and infect anybody, but I'm fucking starving in here, and I'm running out of toilet paper. I'm $400 short on rent in a few days. IDK what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely gonna cut this post short, because I'm starting to cry. I assume I've contracted it because I've had all the symptoms at some point in the last week, and I was in Spain when shit hit the fan. I had a little shortness of breath at first, but I just thought my panic attacks were coming back due to the stress. Then Monday my body felt warmer than normal. I didn't get a fever on my face, but the next day my back felt like it had a sunburn. I had a very mild dry cough as well. The fever went away the next day, and a couple days later, my back felt like I got punched hard. My chest muscles were just kinda sore, and I felt like I was wearing a binder. My breathing wasn't really disrupted though. I could still breathe at full capacity. The soreness has decreased every day since then. Now every day I'm getting better. I've been feeling like my old self for the last couple days. My cough is gone. It's been over a week since symptoms began. I didn't experience any congestion or tiredness. I'm 27, so I feel like I got a relatively mild case. I hope I've built up some immunity to help with the herd immunity. 29 meters, no chronic diseases. It started with an itchy throat and a dry cough. Never had a fever, but I did have some pressure on my lungs, and I was out of breath fast. Some muscle pain around the chest and back for a day. The pressure on my lungs lasted between 1 and 2 weeks. The pressure on the lungs is annoying, but nothing more. I don't want to downplay the virus. For the elderly and those that have a sort of lung disease, that pressure on the lungs is bad news. I'm presumptive positive, but was lucky enough to get a test here in the US. Test results should come in anytime from later today to Friday. I'm 27, female, with asthma and underlying issues related to COS, possibly pre-diabetic. I've been ill for over 2 weeks, and in self-quarantine that entire time. It started out with intestinal issues and a really sore throat on Thursday and Friday, and by Saturday I had a fever and flu-like symptoms. I slept pretty much 20 hours a day all weekend, and by Tuesday I was having difficulty breathing and was coughing. I have pretty bad asthma, so I wanted to get checked out. PCP told me I likely had it, but couldn't get a test, so take an antibiotic for the upper respiratory symptoms to hopefully prevent it from turning to full-blown pneumonia. Over the next few days the flu-like aches subsided a little, but the cough and chest tightness got worse. I ended up in the ER this past week, almost 2 weeks since I started feeling sick, and was tested negative for influenza A and B. Blood work was fine, chest X-ray was borderline but ultimately fine. Oxygen levels were low, and they sent out a swab for COVID-19. It's now day 18 since I first started feeling sick, and God, I'm so tired of it. I don't sleep quite as much, but I still have a constant low-grade fever and a persistent dry cough. I haven't been able to breathe properly in over 2 weeks. Even walking up and down the stairs is tiring, and simple things like putting laundry into the machine is enough to leave me winded and struggling for breath. I have to pause in the middle of sentences to catch my breath. I still can't smell quite right. Please be responsible and self-isolate whenever remotely possible. I have a mild case, but others won't be so lucky. They have not been testing otherwise healthy people here, but our doctor is certain my girlfriend and I have it. For me it started last Monday with a sudden, escalating headache. I then took a nap, and when I woke up I felt warm and generally unwell. As the evening went on my fever got worse, and I was freezing. My throat also started to hurt. When I went to bed I was freezing, nauseous, and my throat hurt. I woke up several times that night completely drenched in sweat. Over the next 2 days my fever slowly came down, and the nausea also began to fade. My throat still hurt and I began to cough with increasing intensity. Over the next days, and until now, all symptoms, but the cough have slowly gone down. The cough however has gotten worse, and has kept the both of us up the past nights. My girlfriend went through the same, but her symptoms started on the 9th, and she is still coughing. I tested positive on 3/21, and am a pediatric IQ doctor, 31 meters, no health problems. My symptoms started about a week prior to getting testing, and mostly consisted of shortness of breath, muscle aches, hot flashes, congestion and runny nose. The shortness of breath was the most notable symptom. I'm an otherwise healthy, active, adult male with no medical problems, and I was winded doing simple household tasks like the dishes or laundry. I can't imagine what people are feeling who are older, or have underlying health problems, particularly asthma. I have been self-isolated at home all this time and possible exposures were notified and all have thankfully been negative thus far. My symptoms have improved daily, but the most lingering symptom has been loss of taste/smell. Reports around the world have demonstrated a similar phenomenon in infected individuals. With my nose shoved in my strongest candle, I don't even get a flicker of a scent. Food feels like an amorphous blob rolling around in my mouth. I can tell texture and temperature but zero taste. The isolation has been hard as I feel guilty not able to help my co-workers at the front lines of this pandemic. Their dedication and perseverance during this difficult time has been inspiring, and I look forward to being able to join them again. Stay healthy out there. My family is a diversity of all possible outcome of COVID-19, except death fortunately. Dad, early 50s, multiple comorbidities, high fever, coughing, throat hurt, loss of appetite, very much tired, slight breathing difficulties. Mother, late 40s, extremely mild symptoms as in light cough and a fever a day and slight headaches. That's it. Sister, early 20s, basically the symptom of a cold. Brother, asymptomatic carrier. Cousin, basically a mild flu. Uncle, a classic flu. I'm not definitely sure if I have it, but it's likely according to my doctor. Lots of mucus, so much that I was standing in from the sink clearing it from my throat for half an hour and still didn't get it all. There was a 2-day period where I had pretty frequent low fevers, and I did sweat a lot, especially one night where I soaked my bed in so much sweat you'd think someone dumped water on it. There's some coughing and difficulty swallowing right now, and there's the obvious drowsiness that comes with so many illnesses. All in all, it hasn't been too bad in my case. However, I probably just have it very mild.